It's not good. Are we rolling?
Don't ask me that.
Fucking directors.
Are you guys drunk already?
No.
If only.
If only we were. It'd be a lot more interesting.
Social lubrication! I hate these. These are corks. I realize a lot of wines use them and have for a long time, but it's tree bark. This is bark from the Quirks suber oak tree from Portugal and Spain, maybe a little Italy. This is the cause for a lot of wines to taste bad. A lot of times people don't realize it. It is a compound called 2,4,6-trichloroanisole, TCA for short. Makes the wine taste like a wet dish rag. It's tree bark. We've gotten beyond this. We've never put a cork in an Acheson wine. It's always been a screw cap.
Yeah.
We never have.
Let's back up, Steve. Can we? Yeah, I know. We know you're angry. So can we back up and talk about a little bit about why people are putting corks in wines?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
So this is actually a really great wine closure, and I'll tell you why. Because it's porous. Okay, you stick it in the bottle, the wine seeps into the cork, and it expands, and it creates a really great seal. Awesome. It's also a horrible wine closure because it's porous. Because of that, there are many wines out there that are lovely wines that people drink and they think are terrible because they're corked. You hear this term. It's like, oh, the wine's corked, but most people don't know what that tastes like. It's like walk behind Safeway after a rainstorm.
Oh, yeah, the cardboard.
That's what it smells like.
That's true.
It smells like wet cardboard, wet cement. It's dead. It doesn't have any liveliness to it. And they go, oh, well, this wine's terrible. And that drives winemakers up the wall.
We hate it.
Because it's not their fault. It's a wine fault. It's not his fault. It's not the winemaker's fault. The winemaker made this great wine, and because the cork producer produced crappy cork, now their wine tastes like cement. But how did we get here? So originally, you got to go back, you got to get in the Wayback Machine, and I'm talking back to the 13th century. They discovered if you leave wine open to air, it goes bad pretty quick. So they're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do we do that? And originally, wine was in amphora. It was in these big, clay pots. And they would bury them in the ground and put a cap on it, and that was cool. But they wanted to take those big clay pots around with them and transport it. And so they put it in a small clay pot, and then the wine would go bad. And so it was trial and error, and they tried everything. And then it was the port industry in the 17th century that really came upon this, because guess where this is grown? Portugal. And it worked great. We live in the 21st century, and we're putting tree bark in our bottles. That's silly. And everybody having this silly notion that pulling a cork is so romantic. I'm like, okay, cool.
I find the drinking more romantic.
I do too. And what happens after? If you're going to create a wine, and there are wines that are created that deserve to have a cork put in them, and there are wines that are built to age. We're thinking Barolo. Bordeaux. Only 1% of wines produced in the world are designed to age in the bottle. And out of that 1%, I would say 80% of the world's wine drinkers have never tasted a wine that actually deserves to have a cork in it. So why are we putting tree bark in our wines?
Well, we're not.